Good day. This video will just be myself without any audiovisual additions as it's purely my opinion and I wanted to keep it to the point. The size and scale of the United States government has been subject of concern and debate for many years. As we've seen in the videos that we were assigned this week, it is argued that the government is becoming too large and unwieldy, leading to several problems, including the loss of freedom and liberty to the citizens. One of the major problems is the issue of bureaucracy and inefficiency. With numerous departments and agencies, the government often struggles to coordinate and streamline its operations. As a result, there is a tendency for duplication of efforts, lack of accountability, and slower decision-making processes. We all were witness to this after the September 11th, 2001 attacks, when many different agencies were all trying to do the same thing, but they weren't talking to each other. Further, as a soldier in the Army for 28 years myself, I saw this bureaucracy and its slowness firsthand. Critics argue that this bureaucratic red tape leads to wasteful resources, delays in policy implementation, and general lack of effectiveness in addressing the needs of the country. However, I attended a lecture one time in 2016 at the National War College where a gentleman got up and he spoke about the slowness of government. And he says that he likes it that way. That's the way it was supposed to be. That's the way the founding fathers wanted to do it. They wanted it slow. So therefore, if a radical idea became hot and heavy in everybody's minds and they wanted a certain law passed, lickety split, it could, if we had a fast government that could mainline that through, that would happen. And it could be detrimental to us. So his point was, hey, listen, we want it slow and we want to take our time so we do not get tyranny. Okay, I understand. Another critical problem of the government is the size and the impact on the federal budget. The size of a bureaucracy requires significant funding and personnel, leading to an ever-increasing federal budget. The main takers, the three rails that you cannot touch, obviously, is Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, with supplements going to other sources such as food stamps, WIC, etc. Can't be touched. So what's the very next budget that can be touched? And that's the defense budget, which is very high. But then again, do we sacrifice defense for less budget? Don't know. This leads to concerns about financial stability, sustainability, and the government must rely on borrowing and raising taxes to meet its obligations, which can burden future generations. Additionally, the complexity of the budgeting process, makes it difficult to prioritize and allocate the funds efficiently. I mean, there was always an old joke when I was in the Army that's why a screwdriver costs $85 when the government buys it. You can go down to your local store and get the same screwdriver for probably 10 bucks. That kind of budgeting leads to wasteful spending. The size and scale of the government raises concerns about the intrusion into individual liberties and the economy. Critics argue that the extensive regulations and the expansion of government power can stifle entrepreneurship and economic growth. Moreover, a large government can be seen as being encroaching on individual freedoms and its personal privacy rights, providing more opportunities for the abuses of power. The United States government has known to intrude on the lives of citizens in several ways. This intrusion was often debated and criticized, and it raises concerns about individual privacy and civil liberties, and the balance of power between the government and the people, everything that we've learned in this class. One notable example of government intrusion is surveillance programs, such as the NSA's mass surveillance program that was revealed by Edward Snowden in 2013. These programs involve collection and storage of vast amounts of data on American citizens, their phone calls, the internet activity, and other communications. Critics argue that such actions violate the Fourth Amendment, which is to protect against unreasonable searches and seizures. Government intrusion is also seen in law enforcement practices, such as the use of surveillance cameras, facial recognition, and data mining techniques, where they try to find out who the bad guy is. While these tactics are intended to enhance public safety and combat crime, we've sparked concerns about the erosion of individual privacy, our liberty, and the abuse of power. The government's role in regulating and accessing personal information held by corporations is another one of concern. Many individuals working about the amount of data collected by the tech giants and the ability for the government agencies to access this information without appropriate checks and balances. This concern was highlighted by the revelations surrounding the activities of companies like Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, which involved the unauthorized harvesting of personal data for political purposes. The Patriot Act comes into play as well. We're all lived through post 9/11, and we know that the Patriot Act does step on a lot of people's rights. Despite these concerns, defenders of the government intrusion argue that it's necessary for public safety and to protect ourselves. But we have to ask, how much should we give up? And then how much should we get? In conclusion, the United States government's intrusion into our lives as citizens is a controversial topic that raises important questions about the balance between individual privacy and collective security. The extent to which the government actions should be allowed to infringe its citizens is a matter that people are debating. Like, how much is too much? The problem of the size and the scale of the United States government encompasses issues of bureaucracy, inefficiency, financial sustainability. These concerns underline the need for continuous evaluation and reform to ensure the government remains effective, efficient, and responsive to the needs of the citizens. I know I went a little long, but thank you for watching, and I look forward to your comments. I believe that the United States government is one of the best governments in the world. I'm not trying to be biased, but it is time for it to look at itself and see where we can go in the future. Thank you.